Hi, and welcome to my review of my vlogging gear. The Canon SL1 or 100D DSLR camera, the Canon EFS 10-80mm STM lens, the Rode VideoMicro shotgun mic, and the Joby GorillaPod hybrid, I think it's called. I'm doing this review in a kind of walk and talk vlogging style because that's the way I use the equipment. We'll swap to the phone and I'll give you an idea of what it looks like in the hand. So here's the rig. Now you can see that actually the VideoMicro with the dead cat that comes supplied is actually quite bulky. As far as shotgun mics goes, it's the smallest or one of the smallest. But there's no getting away from the fact that it is hardly inconspicuous. It's not like it's as light as a feather. I've been walking just for a few minutes and I can already feel the weight of my arm, so this is definitely not something that you're going to be walking around with all day long without knowing that you're doing it, essentially. If you've watched vlogs on the internet, you've probably come across a guy called Casey Neistat, and I've nicked the idea off him. He's got a slightly bigger setup. I think he uses this lens, or one of many lenses. He uses the VideoMic Go, I believe, which is a slightly bigger shotgun mic, but probably better quality. He uses the Canon 70D, which is a much larger camera body. I have that camera as well, and he uses the next size up GorillaPod from Joby. So his setup is, probably twice the weight of this one. But he looks like he's a stronger guy than me. That wouldn't be hard. There's no way that I would be carrying around that amount of weight just to do simple vlogs like this. As I said, I've got a Canon 70D. Now, that 70D feels like an absolute beast compared to this 100D. I'm really going to miss certain features of the 70D, and those are the articulating screen. Don't have that option on the 100D. No articulating screen. It's not the end of the world. It would add bulk and weight to the camera. It would be nice to have though, but it's a sacrifice you make for the small size and weight, and in the grand scheme of things, I guess I'm willing to say goodbye to that one. Another downside is the battery life. I have noticed that with the 100D I'm probably getting half, maybe even slightly less battery life. I'm going to buy a spare. In fact, I'll probably buy 2 spares, and I'll probably just get generic batteries because they're much cheaper. But you do get this much more portable camera. The viewfinder isn't as good. It's a lot smaller, but you know what? After just a few days, or what's it been, a couple of weeks of using the 100D on the road, I've forgotten what it was like to look through the 70D viewfinder. So you do get used to these things, and nearly always they're not really such a big deal. So let's move on to the lens. The Canon EFS 10-80mm STM lens. I just got this the other day. I actually haven't used it for vlogging. It's really, really wide. Is it too wide? I bet I look really far away now, don't I? And you can probably see loads around me. Is it too much? It's back in again. With the weight of this gear, it's definitely better having it at this distance. I've messed this up. I don't know why I've walked down. I've never walked along here before. This is storm drain. Bugger. Yeah, it is a zoom lens, so that's its. I'll probably have to go like that. That's its probably. That is its narrowest field of view. That's at the 18mm focal length on the lens. It's good to have that flexibility. Let me go out again. Because when you turn the camera out facing wherever you're going, you don't always want that really wide angle. You might want to be a little bit closer in. You might want a more standard field of view. So it is nice to be able to do that and to get that more standard view where there isn't as much distortion and everything's not as wide angle. It's not the fastest lens in the world. f4.5. Wow, I thought it was f4. f4.5 to 5.6 is the aperture. So you're going to be struggling to use this in anything approaching a low light environment. You're going to get a lot of noise. It's a $350 lens, so that's what I paid for it. I think $350 Australian. there's always trade-offs when it comes to size, price, weight, quality. You know, there's always a drawback and a plus. This lens is only about 250 grams. It's got a plastic mount to keep the weight down. Some people have got an issue with that. I personally don't care. It looks strong enough to me, clicks into place very nicely, so that's all good. It's not very big, it's not too obtrusive. It doesn't move much in and out when you zoom. The other thing that I should have spoken about probably more when I talked about the camera, but I'll do it now when I'm talking about the lens, is the focusing ability. It's good. I like it, alright? It's not as good as the 70D. That camera is insanely good at continuous autofocus, focus tracking moving objects during video. That's what has made it so popular with videographers. You know, this camera also does have a kind of hybrid or some kind of advanced autofocus system. It's pretty good at autofocusing during video, but the proof's in the pudding. So I mean, you tell me, we're using that equipment now, am I in focus? If I sort of move, woo, try and test the camera, am I staying in focus? Of course, you know, the thing is, with a wide angle lens you've got an extremely large depth of field, so pretty much everything's going to be sharp or reasonably sharp. So this probably isn't the best lens to challenge the camera's autofocusing, and that's not really a bad thing for a vlogger. I like it. It's pretty good. Let's talk about the microphone. It cost me about 70 or 75 Australian dollars. That's cheap for a microphone. I wasn't really expecting much, I guess, because of that price. I was going to go with a slightly larger shotgun microphone, which is very, very popular with the vlogging community. That's the Rode, can't get my words out, the Rode VideoMicro Go. That's about 100 Aussie dollars, but with this one you get the dead cat included. Whereas with the Go, you've got to buy that, and that's like another $30–35. So ultimately you're looking at half the price and half the size, I guess, and half the weight maybe even as well. It comes with a shock mount. I can't remember the name. It's got some fancy technical name that I'm not going to attempt to tell you now because it will be wrong. It does increase the size and the noticeability of the setup. You know, you're not going to slip under the radar with this microphone attached, put it that way. It's kind of bulky, but I guess you could take the dead cat off, but then you'd be looking at getting wind interference. It's a bit fiddly to be taking it on and off all the time, so I just leave it on. As I said, I only got it very recently, and I've only shot a few clips with it and listened back to the audio. It is noticeably better. I'll just do a test now. I'll pull out the lead of the VideoMicro from the camera, and we'll just go to the normal camera's inbuilt microphone. Something really annoying just happened. I was looking back at the footage, having, I thought, finished the review, and it looks like what's happened is, at that moment when I pulled out the microphone lead from the camera, it didn't just stop the microphone from working. It switched the camera off. So consequently, all the last bit of the review, when I'm talking a bit more about the sound quality of the microphone and also talking about the tripod, the GorillaPod, didn't get any of it. Here I am again, going through the last part for the second time, although for you the first time, and I've started recording with the external microphone disconnected. So this is the camera's onboard internal microphone. So this is the audio that you get from that. Is it any good? I've been using it without an external microphone in my previous vlogs, and I thought it was pretty good. I didn't really have any issues. I just wanted better audio, so I decided to go with the external. Morning, how are you? Microphone to give me that better sound. But is it worth the cost and the extra weight and the size? Is it worth the difference? I'm going to plug this guy in, and actually I'm going to check the back of the camera as well to make sure it continues recording. Right, it's continued recording. It's weird, isn't it? I'm pretty much sold on this microphone from the audio quality that I've experienced already in these early days. I reckon it's worth the money. It wasn't expensive, and it's not heavy. It does look a bit funny, but who cares? I don't. And I think it's worth it. I reckon that's a win. Finally, I'm going to talk about the Joby GorillaPod hybrid, which I'm using as a vlogging sort of stick. And the cool thing about the Joby is that you can, because it's got legs that you can sort of twist and stuff, you can put it around tree branches or goal posts or anything, chair legs. It seems to sort of just take me ages to get everything how I want it, and I'm not sure if that's just because I've never used one of these before, so it's a little bit strange to me. But on the beach the other day, I was just trying to set up a shot so that I could walk through the frame. I was going to be on camera literally for sort of 3 seconds, and I'm not kidding, it took me about 5 minutes to set it up because I was just fiddling with the legs and the camera was going over like that, and I was like, oh no, that's not right. And really what I should have done is not worried about the legs too much, just get those nice and stable in the sand, and then there's a ball joint which connects to the camera, and then just loosen that, and that's where you want to be manipulating the angle and stuff to get the frame that you want. And as soon as I realised that, it was much easier. But yeah, it's not intuitive to me, but I think that's just because I've not used one of these before, so I think it's pretty good. And it didn't cost much. I think it was 35. Morning guys, how are you?
Good.
35 Australian dollars, I think it was. And that's the end of my review, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you got any ideas? Did I forget to talk about something that you would like to know about? How are you?
Can you just pause that, please, sir?
Why is that?
Pause your little thing.
Alright, come on.
No, I'm just filming. It's okay. Have a good day. I have just realised I've walked the wrong way. I've got lost. What are you doing, Tom? Sort it out. I'm just walking in the opposite direction from my house. Where am I? Where the hell I am? Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe even. And I'll see you next time. Bye.